Guys, welcome to Drawing Conversations. My name is Danny Fisher, and I'll be your dedicated nerd, host, and artist. Have you ever wanted to know who Galactus was, where he's from, what he's capable of doing? Well, this is the video for you. So come on, let's get started.
Now our story starts off with a man by the name of Galen. And Galen is from the planet Taa. Now, Taa is home to an extremely technologically advanced civilization. And what they notice is they start to notice that their universe is slowly folding in on itself. A theoretical big crunch. And obviously, hey, they don't want this to happen. So Galen sets out to try to look for answers, some way to stop this event from occurring. And sadly, no answers are found. And instead of returning home to slowly die and watch his universe fold in, he pilots his ship directly into the center of the Big Crunch. The sentience of the universe, and not much is told about the sentience of the universe, but whether it was pity or pride or just simply inspired by his act of selflessness, fuses himself with Galen and creates a cocoon from his ship. And there they gestate and they survive the Big Crunch, and then obviously following the Big Bang, and become the last living thing from the universe that existed before our own. And we're not really told how long he gestated within this cocoon, but I'm sure it was just a huge amount of time. While in this cocoon, Galactus begins to fabricate his armor. And this armor was designed to regulate his massive amounts of pure raw energy. Now, in every story of Galactus, we are told that a watcher had come across the cocoon and had sensed an energy level greater than anything ever recorded. Now, to give you a little background, just a little background on the Watchers, they're also a very ancient race, and their purpose in the universe is to record, never to interfere, to document, and to never change or contribute to any type of change in the universe. Now, it is so important to note that this Watcher cannot resist himself. Again, an energy level greater than anything ever recorded. He breaks his prime directive, if you will, tampers with the cocoon, and Galactus emerges. Always, as a kid, I loved reading Galactus. Any story he was in, it was just so cool to see different artists' rendering of the armor, and no two artists ever did it the same, and I really hope I'm doing some justice. But Galactus emerges, and one of the first things he has to do is he has to consume planets. He has to convert that raw matter into energy that will sustain him. And that's also something I really loved about Galactus. It wasn't anger or hate or vengeance or justice, but it was his purpose is to merely continue to exist at all costs, just to continue to exist. And that is what drives this being. And it was always so cool because Marvel wanted to create their own pantheon of gods. And one of the first characters that they had chose to fill this space, this pantheon of gods within the Marvel Universe, was Galactus. And Galactus always, to me, was just so imposing. Some of his power sets, just to name a few: telepathy, telekinesis, manipulate gravity, create life, teleportation, open dimensions, open portals to other dimensions, augment his size, pass through stars, create huge energy blasts, and of course, to consume planets. And one of the first things Galactus does is he sets out and he creates his own ship, Taa II. And again, kind of going back, reading any Fantastic Four or any story with Galactus, I remember looking at the ship and thinking, wow, that's exactly how I would conceivably create a modular space station. And I always imagined that he had whole menageries and areas within his ship that he just stored maybe weapons or relics of civilizations that he's consumed or destroyed, and just massive power cells to hold all that amount of energy, and just, you know, just a place where, you know, villains kind of sit and chill. You know, it's just, the look of it, amazing. Always so cool to see different artists' renditions. And as an artist, I'll tell you honestly, I have the hardest time drawing geometrical objects. Having something that's perfectly symmetrical is so difficult. I always prefer drawing the organic, the natural, curved lines versus straight. And I don't know, I think a lot of artists, you know, kind of fall in that camp, but I try to do justice for his ship, Taa II. Drop a comment, tell me what you think. But one of the next things that we have to mention is that Galactus has made multiple heralds, and these are creatures that he infuses just a fraction of the power cosmic. And in Marvel, the power cosmic is an energy level that you can draw on if you know how, or if you are given this small spark of energy. Silver Surfer was, without a doubt, my favorite herald of Galactus. I always loved how every writer always wrote him with so much inner struggle and so much turmoil, and he always was teetering on doing the right thing, but hey, he eventually rebels. And it wasn't until coming to Earth and meeting the Fantastic Four did he finally turn against his master. Now, I also want to mention that every herald Galactus has ever made, to my knowledge, at some point goes a little haywire and turns against him. And I always wondered, why? Go it alone. At some point, just go it alone, Galactus. Come on. Unless he knows this. And maybe he just needs a herald for a small period of time. Now, small period of time, hey, that's relative to a creature that has existed before our universe. So whether it's a few million years helping him to find suitable planets for consumption, or just maybe just can't get the recipe right to make a proper herald. I don't know, never really explained, but I always love the idea of something out there that is kind of combing the universe, looking for, serving a master that is just nigh unstoppable. But again, Silver Surfer comes to Earth, and this is the point where he turns against Galactus. And you can't talk about Galactus coming to Earth without mentioning the Fantastic Four. I always love reading Fantastic Four, and I'll be totally honest, there's only so much lawns to mow, there's only so much money you've got when you're a kid. I had to borrow a lot of Fantastic Four. I was so deep into X-Men and Spider-Man that hey, come on, you're a kid, there's no unlimited resources, but I love the Fantastic Four because I really felt that they were extremely overpowered. A lot like trying to write for Superman. There's only so many characters that are strong enough to give Superman a run for his money. The same, I think, is true for the Fantastic Four. I think they really nerf their power sets. Love Sue Storm, Miss Fantastic. The idea of being able to go completely invisible, to create force fields, to be able to fly using these force fields. I always imagine if you were to go toe-to-toe with Miss Fantastic, she could simply put a force field around your head and just suffocate you, or create a tiny bubble in your brain and cause an immediate aneurysm. Just so overpowered. And hey, within that, you've got the Human Torch. I love trying to draw fire. Sometimes I feel like I don't quite hit the nail on the head, but I always loved seeing the power sets of the Human Torch. Johnny Blaze, flight, heat blasts, able to reach supernova temperatures, and just all around the classic hothead, pretty boy, fly boy kind of persona. But he was always rendered cool. And hey, in my opinion, the first pick, if you're gonna go confront Venom, loved watching Sony's version of the last reincarnation with Tom Hardy. Hey, no spoilers, but I'm glad that they were able to keep Venom's weaknesses, which is flame or heat, intact. Oh, sorry, getting off rails. At some point, I want to do Venom, one of my all-time favorite villains as well. But on the opposite side, I think the most cursed is Benjamin Grimm, the Thing. Old, blue eyes, extremely long fuse, but once you get him going, it is clobbering time. I mean, living rock, super strength, immense durability. This guy's gone toe-to-toe against Hulk, Thor, Hercules, just to name a few. Now, okay, he didn't always win, but he was able to complete the mission, whether it was just hold off Thor for just a minute, or try to smack some sense into Hercules or the Hulk, just long enough to complete whatever else was story arc was happening. Hey, the Thing always got the job done. And I always wondered, is he rock everywhere? Hey, go watch Mallrats. Never really answered. Hey, in the same note, you've got Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. If you have not seen Incredibles 2, do yourself a favor, go watch that. Elastigirl's power sets and the representation of what she could do is just a great showing of what Mr. Fantastic is capable of doing with his body. Now, his real strength is not his body. It is his mind. Considered one of the smartest humans in the universe, smarter than Tony Stark, than Bruce Banner, on and on. It was Reed Richards alone that was able to figure out the inner workings of the Ultimate Nullifier. Now, the Ultimate Nullifier is a weapon that has been housed in Taa II, Galactus's station. And the Human Torch was actually able to sneak on board and steal this relic and get it to Mr. Fantastic to figure it out. Now, the Ultimate Nullifier is exactly what it is. I loved this weapon. It was always so cool. It is capable of destroying the entire universe and potentially the wielder itself. It shuts everything down, just destroys everything. I can't drive this home enough. It destroys everything, but you have to be smart enough to be able to use it. Now, imagine Galactus looking at Reed Richards, an ant, and this ant is holding the button to a nuclear bomb. It's your classic poker face standoff. And you know what? Galactus blinked first. He agreed to leave Earth in exchange for the Ultimate Nullifier. And Galactus leaves. Earth is spared. And he continues to roam this day in the Marvel Universe as just this force of nature, this cosmic entity, this god amongst the Marvel pantheon that is so overpowered, that is just lurking out there, that at any moment could just end everything. And I think at the end of the day, that's what made him one of my favorite villains.
So there you have it, my take on Galactus. Now guys, this is the part where I ask you for some help. Please subscribe, hit that like, turn on your notifications, and share this video. And I do hope to catch you again real soon.